There's one ingredient that we do not put in our compost ever. Guten Yardning, everybody. One of those questions that gets asked a lot is, what exactly can I put in my compost? To be honest, I think there are just as many answers to that question as there are people who compost, because everybody seems to have their own secret formula. For us, we're not really that overly cautious about what we throw in, other than we don't put any meat in here as a general rule, or anything that has a really high smell to it, because we don't want to attract, well, any more voles than we already have on our property. But for the most part, we put, I guess you could say, we upcycle everything that comes out of our garden back into our compost and then back into our garden. So some of the things that we put in ours on a regular basis are our grass clippings, which are great sources of nitrogen. We do try to mix the grass clippings around a little bit so that we don't get a really thick layer. Our corn stalks. So when we're done with our corn stalks, we go out, we mow them, and in they go. The greens from the sweet potatoes we just harvested are mowed down, and they're also going to be thrown into here. There was a gentleman I watched do a TED Talk a few years ago about what it really takes to make compost, and he said one ingredient, and that ingredient was leaves. He specified that what we wanted to do was to crush these leaves up as small as possible and throw them right into the compost. In his words, Mother Nature takes care of herself, and this is how trees have been doing it for a long time. They have their leaves, the leaves fall off, they go down to the ground, and they feed the tree again. He did suggest that adding coffee grounds is one thing that you could do in addition, but really, that's all you need. Well, we add leaves as well. We're also adding some of the decomposing hay that we just got from our sweet potato hay bale harvest. So all around, we have ingredients that we're using elsewhere in the garden that come back to help us even more in the upcoming seasons. But there's one ingredient that we do not put in our compost ever. It's fall now, the leaves are turning color and they're falling, and one of the earliest trees to lose its leaves and also to lose some of the fruit that grows on it is the black walnut. And these you should not put into your compost. Most of our research into composting and into what we do in the garden comes from our local extension office, and they strongly suggest that a chemical in these black walnuts called juglone is something that you do not want to put near your plants. So when this composts down, and it doesn't matter if we're talking about the leaves or these black walnuts themselves, or even the pieces of the branches, the juglone is produced throughout the tree, and there are quite a few plants that do not like that chemical and will not only not thrive, they will die. One of the other challenges with these black walnuts is that when you grow them and those roots spread out, and they do spread, the juglone reaches out all the way to the ends of those roots. And so even if you cut down the tree, the black walnut, even if you grabbed as much of those roots as possible, the juglone would still stay in the soil for years after the tree was removed. So placing some of these or the leaves from some of the black walnuts into your compost isn't just going to impact the compost immediately, it's going to create problems for you down the road. That's not something you want to do. The purpose of compost is to help and benefit your plants and help them thrive, not to kill them off. Here's a list of some of the plants that research suggests not only don't do well near the juglone, but will likely die. It's very tempting to take the leaves from wherever you can find them, as long as they haven't been sprayed with pesticide, and gather them in and put them in your compost and believe you're doing the right thing. And we would agree that for the most part you would be. But anything in this family, the black walnut, the English walnut also contains juglone, but to a lesser degree, you really, really want to avoid if you have them in your yard. Now, I'm not suggesting you avoid gathering up those black walnuts themselves, because I'm a fan. But you have to be careful what you put back into your garden. We hope you found this video informational. If you did, please give us a like, leave us a comment and let us know. Don't forget to share and subscribe, and as always, remember, when you're with us, you're good to grow.